let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining me for today's session. Today we are going to do a very cool session. Basically, I said we're going to build up your first AI apps in 30 minutes with AI coding. I don't think anyone can do it without AI coding. From there, there's basically it can be hundreds or thousands of codes you need to code for your first app. But basically, by utilize today's AI coding, someone else called it wipe coding. If any of you have utilized ChatGPT, Codex, Gemini, CLI, Cursor, probably know experienced the AI coding before. But for today, we're going to do it in a live session. Just a quick run of the show to show you guys the first 2 minutes. We're going to do the intro, icebreaker questions. Then I'm going to state some of the challenges or problems people are facing when they utilize the AI. And then the next 15 minutes, we're going to do the concrete demo step by step. And then we're also going to introduce my first cohort courses invitation. Just a quick true or false quiz about myself. I just decided instead of give you guys a full intro of myself, let's just do this a quick game. Just tell true and false, right? You can type number one. We got 3 statement here. When you're saying 1, 2, 3, just type it in the chat box, whether you're thinking this is true or false, right? So first one, I coded over 4,000 lines of code in 3 hours. I don't know if you guys heard of Manners AI. When they first released the launch demo, I think everyone feels, wow, this is a general AI agent coming. So basically, I decided, why not I just code it, so recreating the demo. So I did that in 3 hours, 4,000 lines. Do you guys thinking this is true or false? That is true. The next thing I mentioned is I built 12 AI products in 12 weeks. Basically, each week I do a quick development, understand the problem, trying to figure out what I want to build, and then quickly code it with AI. And I have been doing that for over actually 13 weeks already. But right now, 12 products in 12 weeks, all share the one hidden architecture. True or false? Cool. That is also true. Basically, the purpose of this session is I want to share this experience with you guys. I have background in coding, all kinds of different industrial areas, but it turns out to be when the AI coding came out, it feels like my personal productivity has been expanded 10x, right? So that's why I wanted to start this cohort, this session, to share my experience with you and to teach everyone how to do it, right? If you wanted to build up your own products in a very quick way, test your startup ideas or some of the apps or products you wanted to build internally inside of your corporation. This is a good chance you guys to learn this. The last thing, I think very quick, I taught over 50,000 students about coding and AI, but I never took a CS class. True or false? It's going to be a bit tricky. Technically, I never took a CS class in college. I got my PhD, but during the time, I didn't took a CS class. I took a lot of math class, numerical method, all those kind of things, because I do a lot of mathematics simulation modeling over there. But technically, I never took a CS class. But I took CS class online. A lot of AI classes, coding classes, starting from my early years. I basically a self-taught software engineer and the developer. I have been in this field of developing all kinds of different apps over a decade. So technically it's false because I took class online, but in college I never took CS class. But what I want to show is even you does not have either a computer science degree, PhD degree, don't worry about it. Nowadays you can learn everything online. I think one of the things you guys always heard nowadays is AI going to replace our jobs. What you have been doing doesn't matter. Your kids don't have to go to college. I think none of them doesn't sound right to me. That's a big problem in the tech. I don't know if you guys realize that. Everyone is obsessed to making the machine more human. But in reality, we have been treating humans like machines. We want people to become more productive. A lot of people doing in your daily job has a lot of tedious steps, tedious works you have to do. Copy, paste, following the procedural SOP, all kinds of things. It feels like we're treating human more like a machine, but we're not a machine to become human. So something's wrong with that. So basically, during those 12 weeks, when I started this challenge, I just trying to figure out how we can utilize AI and makes us more human. I started this journey with a real life story. One time when I was watching my children draw, I realized when we were a child, we always want to create and imagine all kinds of things. But when we become adults, I think we can lose that glow in our eyes. So that moment initiated me to challenge myself. How can I become more creative or productive? So the answer I'm getting from those 12 weeks experience is human creativity plus AI productivity. If you learn the old architectures about the LLMs, you can see the AI can do things more productive than us. But one thing I feel AI still cannot replace human. I really doubt it can go beyond the training data. And if it's go beyond that, a lot of time makes mistake. That's called hallucination, right? So I think what we should use AI is just to amplify our productivity, not replace the human. We still need to use the core of the human creativity as a foundation, and why the AI productivity can amplify our works from that. So that's mainly I following that principle while I'm doing those 12 weeks for the app challenge for myself. I use a lot of AI tools. I developed a lot of AI tools, but the philosophy behind that is anything I build, I wanted to stimulate the human creativity, but amplify with the AI productivity. I think that's a key point I want to make from that. So without further ado, let's get to do the demo. I want you guys to go to this website, ai-nate.com. And then once you get into the website, click the login, click sign up. You can sign up with your email, name, password, and also you can sign up with Google, Apple. Feel free to do so. I already have my account. So basically, I'm going to sign up with my own account. It's at ai-nate.com. And then just put my password. I got sign in, right? So hopefully all of you guys also did that. We are getting into this page. You can see the overall AI Builder course here, right? So right now I'm doing this live session for build your first AI apps in 30 minutes. I got another cohort course I'm gonna mention later. Click this one, view the course, and you go down. You're gonna see two links here. That's what I'm mentioning, right? You guys will be able to get all the course slices and the code template during the session right now, and also you can download it. If you're watching the recording following me, just go to this website and register your account, and you'll be able to get both course slides I just showed right now, and also the code template. Just click the download zip coding template, download that, and then go to your download folder, unzip it, and then you should be able to see all the code template we are going to use for today's session in this folder. It's a front-end code right now, and it also has some sample data, and also it has a README document showing you what the inside of this code base. So once you get that, open your cursor, open your project, then you're going to see this window here. On the left side, it's showing you all the code base. Each of the file you can click to see this is a folder, this is a file, this is a CS file. It's basically mainly for the decoration, the JSON file, basically for all kinds of functions, and also have a sample code here. This is coming from my own ChatGPT data history. I don't know many of you noticed inside of your ChatGPT, you'll be able to download your chat history. It is under your setting. If you go to data, then it allows you to download the whole zip file of your ChatGPT history. I'm going to use to show you guys how we can extrapolate ChatGPT history, just as an example, to build up our own memory system. The reason I'm thinking memory system is more important those days, if you utilize a different kind of AI system, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, if your Claude just released its own memory system, it's basically record your chat history, started to build up the memory based on that. So the reason people are doing that is when you are using the large language model, a lot of time you find out you have to provide it context to really help the large language model understand what you need, what you wanted to do, or some of the background. And it feels like you have to do it within each of the platforms. So I feel right now there should be one consolidated memory database for each one of us. If I use ChatGPT, I can attach my memory database with ChatGPT. If I using the Gemini, I also can do the same thing. So I don't have to duplicate all those works on each of the platform. And also I own my memory data by myself. I know it's safely installed in my storage. And if I can decide what data I want to share with each platform. And then in the future, I also imagine all kinds of different companies that develop AI agent. So whenever time you interact with each of the AI agent, they need to understand who you are. They need to understand your preference. So they need access your memory database. If you got a way to give this a memory database, you have been built up for your in the future. You don't have to duplicate all the chat history or conversation you had with each of them. So that's why I'm thinking the memory first architecture for any of the AI agent or apps you are building is kind of the first priority. So for today's app, I'm using this example, a memory first architecture, to show you guys how we can build your first AI app from that. Let me first open my Cloud. But in Cloud, basically, there's two ways you can use it. One is using the terminal. If you're a hardcore guy, feel free to use the CLI. I really also recommend that because I'm much familiar with the CLI in the terminal phase. But also the Claude also released this one. I think it's also an add-on. You can install this in the extension. So once you get to the Claude, then you should be able to do the web coding. And when you are coding something, if you provide a context, which is the code base to your Claude code, it's basically won't go wild, right? If you start from scratch, most of the time you're gonna getting okay, but it may not be the design or the architecture you want. But I have polished this template for many times. So it's basically consolidated, guaranteed working coding template, right? If you start with something like this high quality code first, then you build on top of that, or you change based on those code template. Then you basically can build anything you want, right? Like I mentioned in the email, you can build your own like a personal companion, your journal, all kinds of things. But anyway, so while you are doing the coding, I really recommend you see what you code, right? From there, you try to do the web coding for one feature, test it on your test bed, and figure out what's the problem from there, and then ask the AI to help you or troubleshoot with the AI from there. Open your terminal, get this command. Once you do that, you should be able to go here. If you type localhost 8000, you should be able to see this landing page, why we are using the memory first architecture, with and without memory, what you're going to get. Simple tech stack for this teaching template. We already have all the HTML, CSI, JavaScript ready. We have a browser-based like a database. Then click the get start. You can do sign up, login. Once you get this, you should be able to see the overall GUI here. You got upload, memory, chat, setting. I provide a data file here. If you go to your code template, this is a conversation JSON files is coming from a ChatGPT. Well, you also can download from your own ChatGPT account. Then just dragging this one in. Then it's going to process all the information for this conversational history and then extrapolate those information into the different memory. So Episopics basically record all the events, experience about those chat history. And it is part of the people, place, organization. The fact is basically your preference, your skills, your knowledge. That's how I designed this memory database. Once you upload those files, the large language model, ChatGPT behind that will be able to manage to extrapolate that. You need to insert the OpenAI API key here. Once you copy it, you can save. Then once you have this, upload the file, doing the memory extrapolation, you can see when you go into the memory tab, it's already extrapolates those information coming from my conversational files. It says the user identifies a developer focused on creating a personal AI memory database. Right, so this is some conversation I had with ChatGPT before while I was designing this context AI memory database. For this app, it's basically help you to extrapolate any of the historical conversation. Later on, you also can include your emails, any of the information. It's gonna help you to extrapolate those memory into a consolidated database. Later on in my cohort course, I'm gonna show you how you can, using a real database, like a Firebase, which is from Google, we are going to use to extrapolate or your own personal data, and you can create your own Google account. Really own those data by yourself because you know where to store, how to store. Right now, all my personal memories are stored in the Firebase, which I own. Then you can go to the chat site, talk with this memory context. What do you know about me? Just send. And it should process. You see here, just disappear. That's one bug. Second bug I want to show here is basically if you go to the settings, you can see in the account side, your account information doesn't show up here in this section, right? It's username, email, but it's empty. But if you go down the top, it shows your name, your email, but not in here, right? This is a GUI problem, a data loading problem. This one is also a data storage problem, purposely designed in there. But I want to show you guys why you are facing those bugs, how you can debug it with your large language model. So first thing, do a screen catch of the screen that you find the bug while you are testing this app. Go back to your cursor and then paste image here, and then just describe the problem. The setting page does not show the account information in the section attached. Help me troubleshoot. Another thing I always do, always include the file to the cloud. If for you to be more productive, what I usually do is I just drag this file back to here. So then cloud knows I need to focus on this file first. And then I click the enter, and the Claude is going to analyze all those coding based on my instructions. From there, it is syncing. That means I open the syncing mode, right? I will help you troubleshoot why the account information isn't displaying. Let me investigate this systematically. Right. The mechanism behind Claude is they do the search, understand it, and then put the file into the context window, analyze it, and then based on your user instruction, they do the troubleshooting. So you're gonna see some of the detailed steps here. And on the bottom side, this is called the to-do list, right? So initially, when the Claude getting all the context and instruction, the first thing on the system prompt is a to-do list. You're gonna analyze the information and trying to put down those to-do lists. After you finish all the action, you can see they figure out it doesn't connect it to your database because the user input their information, email, name, and the text database stored on your browser. So that's why you don't see it. Another trick is if you click the command button, you should be able to click those files. So it gonna tells you, oh, this is in the line 8. This is a code I'm changing. Then it helps you to identify well the Claude changes those code, right? If you already have coding experience, you pretty much can browse it, review it, and then make sure everything's okay. If you don't have any coding background, another thing I also recommend you guys to understand why the Claude doing this. What you can do is just copy those code, right, back to the Claude, and then ask it to explain this code for me. What does it do? Then another tricks here, the Claude also have the different mode now. If you hold on Shift and tap, and you're gonna see the mode has been changed. This is the accept editor mode. If you're putting this mode on, which means you don't need to review the code, because every time you change the code, it asks you for yes or no. If you click the again, there's another mode called plan mode, which means you're gonna start with a plan. Usually when I do some complicated feature, architecture change, or design, then I want to start with the plan mode first. And then I review the plan, make sure everything's okay, and I'll provide my feedback. Now with AI coding, if you ask the right questions, if you are very curious about everything, I think you can learn a lot of stuff. So anyway, you can see it gives you the breakdown of the functions. It tells you get the user ID, where it does it, you switch to the statement. So read this, figure out, make sure you have understand those details if you really want to learn the coding with the AI. I think that's also a good practice from there. I'm gonna ask, help me implement the changes. Then if you think that's okay, click yes. Then we go back to our browser, Command Shift R, and go to the settings. So right now you should be able to see your username, your email. Another bug, if I type hello, initially you're gonna see the words pop up like streaming, but after it finished, it just disappeared. I want you guys to use this as a homework or practice once you get off this session or when we finish the session. Just do it immediately. Download the code, use your cursor to load it, and then use a Claude to debug with it. Once you finish that, feel free to explore my template. Like I mentioned, I polished this architecture, the design many times. All my 12 products I build each week are based on this architecture. So it's already proved it's gonna work. The stretch goal for you guys, don't wait until Monday. Do it tonight, or do it this afternoon, or do it after the session. Once you've debugged those two things, utilize those templates. Think about one problem you like AI to fix for you in your life, right? And use that as a small project to utilize those templates. Put your thoughts in the Claude code, and then utilize the coding base polished before to build a new app for yourself. Imagine in the future, everyone can build an app by themselves, can build anything they want. After today's session, you'll be able to make an app for yourself or even for your family. But if you wanted to put that app online, there's still some work we have to do on top of that. So that's basically what I designed my 3-week cohort courses for that. First week, we're gonna do the Firebase backend API deployment. Second week, we're gonna understand what is the semantic search. Because right now, when I was doing that, I just get all the memories into the context window for the large language model. But eventually, when you have thousands of the memories, you will not be able to include everything into that context window. You have to do the semantic search to get the relevant memory from there. And then also right now, what we're doing is just one single OpenAI API call from there. But if you wanted to do more complicated tasks, you have to provide tools to the large language model. Maybe it's a search tool, it's a database access or MCP. You have to utilize a certain kind of AI agent framework. So I've been using LangChain, long graph, even long Smiths for monitoring for over years. And also we're gonna deploy the backend API on the Azure virtual machine. And also I'm gonna show you guys how you be able to get free credits. You even can connect with the Stripe and charging some fee over there. I also have some paid app. So those 3 weeks cohort courses, I want to teach you guys how to do it, share my experience step by step. Also have a lot of template. I've been designing the similar template I share with you guys, also prompts. So anyway, this is the course already published online. Feel free to use this barcode to see the course details. If you have any questions, you also can send an email to me asking about that. What I wanted you guys to get out of that one is you can build anything for yourself. 10x productivity for anything you're doing. And the second thing is I want to make it production ready. You should be able to publish the one web app or mobile app or any platform you pick online to release that, and then your friends, the people around you will be able to download that or utilize that on the internet, right? So that's basically a production ready AI apps we are going to build within those 3 weeks. And then last thing is we're going to ship it live. We're going to have the real user, real products. I'm also going to share some of the go-to-market strategy I had. So those things I'm also happy to share with you guys to help you bootstrap your first app to gain more traction and how you can have the real users to use your app. And right now, I give you guys 50% discount. Feel free to use the barcode. Or if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Or if you find me on the social media, you can also message me. I think we're ready on the time. Hopefully, you guys can learn something you can utilize for the rest of the weekend. Like I mentioned, do it now. Experience it. Download the code from my website here. If you haven't do that, log in through here, and then you can go to this website. The course slides are here, the code template are here, and then just experience it. Once you finish that, utilize that template to build something new for yourself. That's mainly what I want you guys to do for the weekend.